I am joined today by Council President for Life, Mary Pat Clark, City Council President Nick Mosby, Councilwoman Odette Ramos, Marceline White of the Maryland Consumer Rights Coalition, and Allison Harris from the Pro Bono Resource Center of Maryland to talk about an important message that we have for Baltimore homeowners. And thank you all for your partnership in spreading this important message. We are here today to talk about an incredible useful resource for low-income homeowners here in Baltimore that we all want homeowners to take advantage of, all of them, the Maryland Homeowners Property Tax Credit. Today's announcement is about being targeted and strategic in our approach to protect our legacy homeowners and promote equity. The public health emergency of COVID-19 has also led to an economic fallout that we all know about, one that's put pressure on our homeowners, particularly our legacy homeowners. And as we continue to support all of our residents during this pandemic and focus on equity, we want every resident who is a homeowner to know about the Maryland Homeowners Property Tax Credit and not leave money on the table. In May, my administration and I, along with the council, took a vital step in preventing owner-occupied homes that face a tax sale lien for the first time from going to the auction block. That was a necessary and immediate measure to address the issue. But we have a plan for the long term and to equip our residents with the tools and information they need to ensure that they can return their homes. The Homeowners Property Tax Credit is there to help keep money in the pockets of our legacy residents and low-income households to alleviate economic stress placed on homeowners by the pandemic and systematic inequality. Homeowners are eligible for this credit if they own their primary residence as long as their gross household income is less than $60,000. Again, if you own your primary residence and your gross household income is less than $60,000. In addition, for homeowners 70 years or older, this tax credit is retroactive and can be applied to previous tax years. Yes, you can apply it to previous years. Homeowners can access the application and assistance in the following ways. At the Mayor's Office of Children and Family Success, Community Action Partnership Centers, or CAP Centers as we call them, you can call 410-396-5555 for more information and assistance. Again, that's 410-396-5555 for more information and assistance. You can also call the Maryland Consumer Rights Coalition Securing Older Adults Resources Program, or SOAR, tax credit hotline at 443-961-6220. That's 443-961-6220. Applications can be submitted online also at bit.ly/MD Homeowners. That's bit.ly/MD Homeowners. You can also find copies of the application at your local Enoch Pratt Library branch. It is crucial that we get this information out to homeowners across the city. I want to encourage Baltimoreans, especially our legacy residents and low-income families, to see if they qualify. Don't delay. Apply for the credit before October the 1st. Please see if you're eligible. Apply for the credit. We don't want anyone to leave these dollars on the table. We know that everyone is hurting because of the fallout from this pandemic, and we want to keep people in their homes so that they can pass their homes on to the next generation and to create generational wealth in families and communities throughout Baltimore. And now, for the first time in quite a while, I will turn it over to City Councilwoman Mary Pat Clark. Madam Councilwoman.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you also for having this press conference, because we are 3 weeks and 2 days away from this opportunity going away for an entire year. This homeowners tax credit is very important, as the mayor has explained, to help reduce property taxes for home-owning families in Baltimore and throughout the state of Maryland who are grossing $60,000 or less in their annual household income. For me, that's easy. Odette Ramos here, who's been working hard on this issue, came to me a long time ago and filled my life with a lot of constituents who were otherwise unable to apply at that time for this benefit. What happened was, because of the COVID, because of closures of all government buildings, a lot of the ladies and men who applied for this every year, and you must apply every year based on income, they didn't have a way to go pick up a form like in the city government or in the state government which runs the program. So they didn't have computers. They might have a daughter, and if they had a daughter, maybe they had some help. Sons count too. And they have tried, but the daughters get it, you know? And basically, there were a lot of people out here who knew they needed to get it, but didn't know how. Now, thanks to the mayor, thanks to the city council president, thanks to the city council and Odette and my district, there's a way. And I'd like to say that this is money that reduces your city property tax and helps to keep you out of going to tax sale, which is a major problem. So basically, applications are now available at, as the mayor has said, at the CAP centers, and that means some help to go with them. So people have a place to go. Thanks to the League of Women Voters in the city, it was the Enoch Pratt library system got involved early on. And now there are applications in every branch library, and I believe that the personnel are being trained on how to process the applications. They have to be into the state of Maryland, down at 301 West Preston, by October 1st in order to count at all for the current year. So I want to thank the League of Women Voters. I want to thank them. I wrote who I was thanking so I didn't forget anybody. First of all, the mayor, the president, and Councilwoman Odette Ramos, who drives me crazy as a volunteer. People say, "Are you enjoying your retirement, Mary Pat?" I said, "Ask Odette Ramos," for whom I am a full-time, I think sometimes, volunteer. But thanks to her pushing on me and my sitting down in a lot of kitchens with senior citizens, we have a lot of applications in that might not have gotten there at all. Now we could all do the same. So I want to thank everybody who's helped, but this is a big day because this is the announcement that, hey ladies, you can go to CAP centers, you can go to public places like Abel Wallman, and I know they have them there because we took them there. And you can pick up your applications and get some help. And of course, you can always call Odette and the mayor and the president to help as well. So thank you very much for this opportunity to say we only have 3 weeks, 2 days to get those applications in. And a lot of them are complicated because of the documents that you have to attach, like your Social Security award letters, like any income taxes that you filed. And guess what? Just like everybody, I lose those papers, and we have to find them in order to get those applications in. So thanks, and thank you all for your help.
And thank you, Councilwoman. And I don't think any of us thought you were going to be retired. We knew that you would be active, and we're glad that the Councilwoman is able to help you in your retirement. Now I'd like to turn it over for Marceline White from the Maryland Consumer Rights Coalition and SOAR.
Thank you so much. Good morning. My name is Marceline White. I'm the Executive Director of the Maryland Consumer Rights Coalition, MCRC. And MCRC works statewide on advancing economic rights and equity through research, education, advocacy, and coalition building. And I'm here today to talk about our Soar program, which is securing older adult resources. First, I'd like to take a minute and thank Mayor Scott, Council President Mosby, and Councilwoman Odette Ramos for pulling together this critical meeting to inform people about the homeowners property tax credit. Our SOAR program works with older adults, and one of our goals is to help older adults find money they may be leaving behind on the table and to support them in ensuring they can live out their lives and age gracefully with dignity in their homes. If you work with our SOAR program, if you call our hotline, which is 961-6220, someone will call you back and they can help you fill out the homeowner's property tax credit. They can work with you. We also have a website, MarylandTaxCredit.com. That's www.marylandtaxcredit.com. You can go there, or if you have a loved one, an elder, you can go there and pull down the application for them. But this is critical because we can walk you through the application on phone, online, whatever you need to make sure you're filling it out properly. But just to give you an example, if you're 70 or older, these taxes are retroactive. So last year we worked with a gentleman in Baltimore City. He got the property tax credit and retroactive credits and earned back $5,888. That's more than enough to have saved his home from tax sale and give him a little bit of money to spend. On average, we're able to bring back about $1,000 for homeowners. So it's real money that's right there for you. And I just want to say something to our older adults in Baltimore City. A lot of times we feel, a lot of our elders feel like they shouldn't ask for money. They shouldn't be calling, maybe somebody else needs this more. This is here for you. The state put this in place for you to help you age in place and live in your home with dignity. This is here for you. We want you to call. That's why we're doing this. We want you to take advantage of this credit. We want you to save your home for yourself and for your generations, for your family members. So please, call soon. If you hear this, take 5 minutes after you hear this, pick up the phone, make a call. We'll set up an appointment. There are lots of other places to get appointments. But do it now, because if you get your property tax credit application in now, and there's a problem, there's still time for us to go back and fix it and make sure you get the money soon. And that's why we're urging people right now to take time and apply for the homeowner's tax credit. And again, you can go to our website, which is www.marylandtaxcredit.com, or call our hotline, and Francine and Jamila, who are amazing financial counselors, will support you. And it's 443-961-6220. And they can also help you find other money that may be laying on the table that you deserve, you earned, and you need to go get. So call today and take the credit. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marceline. Thank you for everything that you guys do to protect home ownership here in Baltimore City. And I think when you hear that they helped someone find $5,000 and the average is $1,000, that might seem like it's small. But when you're talking about our older adults, you're talking about folks who are on the low income level, that's a big deal. That's life-changing money for folks, and we really want people to fill out the application because it could be something that saves your home and saves something for your future, for the future of your family. I would like to now turn it over to Allison Harris from the Pro Bono Resource Center of Maryland. Allison.
Thank you, Mayor Scott. Good morning. I'm Allison Harris, Director of the Home Preservation Project at the Pro Bono Resource Center of Maryland, a provider of pro bono civil legal services. Every spring, we host pro bono legal clinics to help homeowners facing the annual tax sale in May. And throughout the year, we identify and assist homeowners who need to apply for the credit because we have found that virtually none of our clients would find themselves on the tax sale list if they had known about and had the benefit of the homeowner's tax credit. Over the past 6 years, we've assisted nearly 700 homeowners at risk of losing their homes to tax sale foreclosure. For homeowners, ending up on the tax sale list is usually the result of an inability to pay one's property taxes. This is not a question of will. This is an issue of financial ability. Our clients want to pay their taxes. They want to be good citizens. They want to do their part and do the right thing. But finances are tough, and everyone is doing their best to make ends meet. And as we know, property taxes in this city are high. The clients served by our Baltimore tax sale prevention clinics demonstrate that those at risk of losing their homes due to overdue property taxes are some of our most vulnerable citizens. 3/4 are seniors, nearly half are disabled, the overwhelming majority identify as Black, and nearly 3/4 have annual household incomes of less than $30,000. Most of our clients have owned their home for more than 2 decades and own them free and clear of a mortgage. This spring, I had several clients who landed on the tax sale list for the first time because they had not received the homeowner's property tax credit in 2020, unlike in years past, for various pandemic-related reasons. A 68-year-old woman came to us with a tax bill of over $3,000 that she could not pay and found herself on the tax sale list. She was confused about why this had happened because she had previously received the homeowner's tax credit to make her property taxes affordable. The client had mailed her homeowner's tax credit application in August of 2020, as she has every year for the past few years, but the credit was not applied. She was unable to reach anyone at the tax office by phone, and she could not go to a library to access a computer to file online. We called the State Department of Assessments and Taxation to resolve the situation. With our help, she immediately received a credit of over $2,600, and her property tax bill was reduced to $459. She was removed from the tax sale list, and she paid her tax bill. Another 66-year-old woman came to us in a similar situation. She was also on the tax sale list for the first time this year because she didn't get her homeowner's tax credit like she usually does. For years, she had dropped off her application in person at the tax office. In 2020, she had walked her application to the mailbox to send it in. She called SSTAT. She did her diligence. She called SSTAT to check on the status later, but it never arrived. They advised her to send another application. She completed another application, walked it to the mailbox, put it in the mail. Again, it didn't arrive. She called us when she found herself on the tax sale list a few months later. Again, I reached out to SSTAT on her behalf to resolve the situation. And SSTAT, which has great, amazing people who work there who really care about homeowners in Maryland, worked with her to quickly complete a new application. They granted her the credit. She was in record time, and she was removed from the tax sale list and able to pay her bill. The homeowner's tax credit is key to preventing the loss of Baltimore family homes to tax sale foreclosure. Accessing the credit preserves homeownership, preserves the equity that families have spent decades building in their properties, and helps to ensure the transfer of intergenerational wealth within our neighborhoods. Saving those homes promotes neighborhood stability and can be part of the solution to saving the communities that so many of us here today are fighting for. And preserving homeownership is one way in which we can help build equity in this city. At the Pro Bono Resource Center, we work with numerous partners in Baltimore City to promote the tax credit and to provide meaningful access to the credit to everyday homeowners. If you need help and if you have internet access, your first step should be MarylandTaxCredit.com, which Marceline just spoke about. If you take away anything from this today, know that you can contact any number of organizations. My organization, the Pro Bono Resource Center, Maryland Volunteer Lawyer Service, Maryland Consumer Rights Coalition, Maryland Legal Aid, Senior Legal Services, or Neighborhood Housing Services, among others. There is no wrong door. We will help you. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison, and thank you for your hard work and dedication for homeowners, not just here in Baltimore, but across the state of Maryland, in which you heard a real-life stories about why this is important, especially in the pandemic, especially when we know things have been challenging for everyone in every system. We have to, in a moment like this, make sure we do everything to protect homeownership. I would like to now turn it over to the second councilwoman for the 14th district that we have speaking today, Councilwoman Odette Ramos. Madam Councilwoman.
Thank you so much, Mayor Scott, and thank you so much for your leadership in this effort. Also to the Council President, thank you. Thank you both for supporting this effort to get more people to sign up for the homeowner's property tax credit. Both the mayor and the council president have been working with us on this issue of tax sales since the beginning of all of our respective terms. They know that housing instability is the cause for so many other issues we have in our city. Avoiding tax sale foreclosure is an important part of this strategy. Thank you again to the mayor and to the council president for your commitment to reforming the predatory tax sale system. One way people can avoid tax sale is by applying for this homeowner's property tax credit, as you heard earlier. It can substantially reduce your property tax debt. Other colleagues have already explained the mechanics of the credit. I want to tell you the impact. I have several constituents who take advantage of the homeowner's tax credit. One couple who lives in Inner Gardens like the tax credit so much that they tell all of their neighbors and remind them every year to apply for the homeowner's tax credit. Each and every one of our constituents who uses the credit would be struggling to make ends meet or at risk of tax sale without it. While we were working with residents this spring who are at risk of tax sale, it was more clear than ever before that we have to get more people signed up for the homeowner's tax credit. One constituent, she's in her 90s, she forgets to pay her taxes, so her family and our office is reminding her and working with her. Another had to borrow from her children to pay the property taxes after having to use her own money for to pay for a medical event. And she could have benefited from the tax credit, and we are working with her now to make sure that she signs up. Another would not have been able to keep her home without the help of the SOS and Better Waverly Fund. And by applying for the tax credit, she will not find herself in the same place. And we can use that money to help other families until there is comprehensive tax sale reform. So Mayor Scott and Council President Mosby, thank you again for your help and leadership. It is an honor to work with you on this important effort from the homeowner's tax credit to comprehensive tax sale reform, and more to come, I'm sure. It is also an honor to work with Councilwoman Mary Pat Clark in this effort. She's been a tremendous mentor to me and working in our district to promote the credit and help people in our district, with the application. Who better to help in this effort? So I'm urging everyone, if you make $60,000 or less and you own your home, please apply for the homeowner's property tax credit. If you have a family member who could qualify, please help them apply for the credit. I'll say those numbers again. 443-961-6220 is for the SOAR program. And those of you in my district who need help, please call our office, 410-396-4814. If you already received the credit, you need to apply again, and that deadline is October 1st. I want to also acknowledge, and I'm thankful for all the warriors who have been in this fight around tax sale, as well from the Maryland Consumer Rights Coalition, Pro Bono Resource Center, MBLS, and also Fight Blight Baltimore. So they're here with us to make sure that everyone applies for this tax credit. I just want to say one last thing about the tax credit. It is a tax credit, but the money comes from the state to pay the city. So the city gets paid and gets all of its revenue that is owed, all right? That's the important piece about this. So we love this credit because not only people can afford the taxes, but the city is made whole. So again, if you're listening today, take a second to make those phone calls and make sure that your relatives know about the tax credit because this is very important for all of us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilwoman, and thank you for leading the charge and galvanizing us all to be reminded about how important this issue is. And I think I have a good idea of who that couple is in Ednor Gardens. But last but certainly not least, we're going to bring up City Council President Nick Mosby to again talk about the importance of this issue. Mr. President.
Thank you. Council President Mary Pat Clark, I could remember as you stood here, it was almost like nostalgia because it took me back to when we had a similar press conference fighting and saving for folks to get back into the homestead tax credit. And see, told you. And it was the former council president who was the councilwoman at the time in the 14th district that led all of us as council members to do that. That was an opportunity where we had a chance to go citywide to speak up for the most vulnerable, but more importantly, like everyone has said prior to me, ensure that we were protecting the trajectory of intergenerational wealth. And that's why we stand here today. So thank you to the commitment, not from just you, former Council President Mary Pat Clark, but also for the seamless transition into Councilwoman Odette Ramos in taking on this issue as well. As the mayor and others have alluded to, owning your home is key to our residents in building that generational wealth. But before we can think about building that legacy, we must make sure that the city supports our residents in the best way possible. And that's exactly what this program does. Providing an opportunity to secure affordable housing is the cornerstone to thriving communities, and we understand and know the importance of communities here in the city of Baltimore. Unfortunately, the statistics have moved in the wrong direction. In a study that was done in 2017, that was done from 2007 to 2017, home ownership rate in Baltimore City fell from 51% to 47%. And at the same time, black home ownership fell by 42%. Well, as the mayor said, we know that COVID-19 has further exacerbated that trend, and we understand and know that we're standing here today is even more important than it was 4 years ago. The homeownership tax credit will stop the rates of home ownership from falling further in our city, and it's important that we all spread the word. This is not something that we just look in the mirror, but we talk to our neighbors, we talk to our family members, we talk to our friends. Most importantly, over the next 3 weeks, we do not come in contact with a Baltimore City resident without ensuring that we are protecting them. Again, this goes after our most vulnerable residents. It protects our elderly, and it's what we need together for us to continue to build a stronger, safer, and more thriving city of Baltimore. I thank the folks that stand with me here today. As the president of the City Council, we stand committed with our partner in progress and the Mayor Brandon Scott, as well as with the person on the council leading the charge in Councilwoman Odette Ramos. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. And just so that we wrap it up by doing it the proper way, just a reminder, homeowners are eligible for this credit if they own their primary residence and their gross household income is less than $60,000. And of course, homeowners 70 years or older, the tax credit is retroactive and can be applied to previous years. So if you are looking for information, call the Mayor's Office of Children and Family Success, 410-396-5555, or you can call the Maryland Consumer Rights Coalition Securing Older Adults Resources Program, Soar Tax Credit Hotline at 443-961-6220. We want everyone eligible in the city to apply by October 1st. We don't want to leave a penny on the table. Thank you, and now we'll open it up for questions. Ma'am?
Good morning, Mayor Scott.
Good morning.
Or afternoon, almost. How many residents do you think that this will impact in the city?
Well, I mean, this is, we know thousands of residents are eligible for this. This is about making sure that we get every eligible person. When you think about what you heard earlier, on average, the work is about $1,000 that when they help folks, that's life-changing for residents in Baltimore City, which is why we're trying to push this information out again as we near the deadline.
Now, I have an off-topic question, so I don't know if anybody else has any other questions.
Go ahead, you're good.
But in light of the investigation that came out from Augusta Fells last week, how can parents in Baltimore City trust Baltimore City schools to provide an adequate education? Well,
I think you would say last week, let's be reminded, and we're going to talk truth and fact here. That investigation was done years ago by the school system because they have systems in place to make sure that folks are doing the right thing. While your station might think that you had something to do with it, it didn't. This is what you have to have. You have to have practices in place that when things go wrong, there are checks and balances. And you saw the school system do this investigation. You saw them put things in place. You saw penalties for people who were doing the wrong thing. And that's what you want from anybody who's involving working with your young people and children. And that's what we're going to continue to do. We have to make sure we all know that we have to work to make the system better. But what we will not do is try to act like they didn't do the right thing. When people do the wrong thing, whether it's people in a school, whether it's police, whether it's a DPW director, you have to have people that will check them on it.
who should be held accountable for this right now? I know
Well,
it
the
was
folks-
launched in 2019, but
Yeah,
there
the
were-
folks have largely, they had to go through a labor process. Folks have largely been held accountable, and folks will. The folks who did it, those administrators, those educators who were breaking rules have to be directly held accountable, and that's what the system is doing.
Were you briefed by the CEO about this beforehand?
Before they released it, yes.
When?
I don't remember. I have to go back and look. But they told us she did brief me and said that they were releasing it sometime last week.
Where do the students go from here at Augusta Fells and in schools across the district?
Where do they go? Students go to school, right? We have to make sure, again, that we are educating our young people, not just in Augusta Fells, and I think that we know that your station is infatuated with a particular school and infatuated with those children. You have to understand when you're talking about a student body like Augusta Fells, what those young people have gone through. What do we have to do to support them when they are living through things that will break most adults? And what I will not stand by here and let folks do is continue to use them as clickbait, because these are real lives that are going to be impacted by seeing these stories about them and seeing themselves viewed as your station dudes as less than or not up to anything. These are young people who can reach heights that you can't imagine. We have to make sure they're supported before the investigation, during the investigation, and long after the TV stations want to use them as clickbait. Next question.
So I do have a question, but I did just want to note the historic connection between property taxes in the city and the underfunding of Baltimore City Public Schools. So before we get into the whole notion of the failures of Baltimore City Public Schools, we have to take a real deep look at what happened with property taxes, what happened with white flight in Baltimore City that left our schools underfunded for 40 and 50 years. And much of that history, if the stations really want to dig in, goes back to William Donald Schaefer. And we need to really look at what happened with Baltimore City Public Schools at the time that Black leadership comes into control in the school system, while they are also being told that they cannot do anything to raise the budget of schools because it's directly tied to property taxes. So I just wanted to note that. But my question,
Yes, ma'am.
my question for you all is, the homeowners property tax credit has to be applied for every year. And one of the issues that we see all the time is that elders, for whatever reason, forget, they're sick. Given what we have all heard about COVID, there are barriers to getting that application in. Is the city advocating to the state to make the property tax credit not a yearly renewable, that you apply one time? Because the reality of it is, for most seniors, most people on a fixed income that are disabled or whatever, once you are below $60,000, you're not, in most cases, going to see a large jump in your income that would change your status. So it seems like it would make much more sense and keep many of our elders and most precious homeowners out of tax sale if you only had to apply for the credit once. So is the city doing any kind of advocacy surrounding that?
I know there's been advocacy before, Anika, but I think that it's a great idea, and we will be in contact with you as we move into the session to see how we all can unite to talk to the state about that. That's a great idea.
Excellent.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you, everybody.